So I came back 6 months later and I told him, well, I finished the other project. Where are you? And told me we didn't we're we need 6 to 9 months left. And told me, how did you do?
Hmm.
I told him, it's very easy. I had a team of three. You
Hmm.
have a team of 15. You talk too much.
Oh my goodness. Uh, Something is, I I had this four, five, six, seven. Now is seven or eight conversation. Okay, not everything relates with everyone. Like when I talk with Josna, few things were relating. Okay, when I talk with Shivu also, there were few things which were matching. Now this part of this conversation, okay, you are relating to the way I think. Okay, uh, especially like when I was looking for job change, and a lot of these directors who used to basically want an interview with me, want to discuss. Okay, so I said the same thing. See, I need a proper position where I can basically explain the people what I'm trying to express. Okay, what happens is you have 10, 15 managers sitting in the meeting. One is talking about how to go to Paris. The other one directly jumps into Amsterdam airport. The other one is talking about the Frankfurt airport. Okay, and suddenly someone comes and talks about no, George Washington DC. So that keeps on happening. So basically, and also if I go back to my school days, there was a subject in economics called uh, disguise unemployment. So
Mm,
uh,
I
uh,
see.
you have, I think you have heard about it, right? So what happens is, let's say you have a, say, small farm area, okay, where say 10 laborers can walk and do the productive irrigation. Okay, now the government thought, okay, we have huge unemployment, so these are the laborers, so why not add 100 of them into the field.
Mm,
Okay, so
yeah, I heard
productivity is
about
the same. Okay, so that is where the economist says that is a undisguised employment. Though by in the book you can say 100 people employed, but the productivity is not going there. So that's what you defined as a undisguised
Well, but
employment.
there are other things. I told you we're becoming an ISV partner, and we're dropping like a service because um, I find it sometimes frustrating in consulting. It's um, well, let me put it this way. Um there is how you should do a project,
Mhm,
and to for the project to be successful.
mhm,
And there is how your clients want the project to be done
mhm,
for his own career.
mhm.
And there is how the software vendor, in this case Salesforce, wants the project to be done for
Ah,
use. And
yeah.
and there is how you should do the project
Mm,
as a consulting partner if you want
mm,
to sell mandates. Because
mm.
let's face it, you have 25, 75% of consulting partners, they're looking for
Mm,
recurring revenue. So what they're
yeah.
doing is they never really finish the job, or they leave 2, 3 steps at the end to
Mm,
to keep support or uh, or help or training or things like this. So what happens is that you focus on two success stories and the other you don't finish. So um, I didn't like that with my company when I was an employee. So I couldn't handle
mm,
the 15 executives and the slidewares, and I'm pretty comfortable with this. But when I started my company as a consulting partner, we focused on delivering very well and be
mm,
successful and fast and quality delivery, etc. So what happened is that we did not we always kept the initial planning, the budget, etc.
mm.
And what we've got at the end is the non-paying customer for the last bill,
Uh,
and um, and non-recurring revenue. So, um, but customers were happy, but the scalability was not that good, in fact.
mm,
And so what we did after is that we began building technological assets
mm,
to help us deliver faster projects. And we found ourselves in a situation where, well, that maybe because we're in France, but in France, clients would not pay for a, um, let's say,
mm,
let's say we created an asset to map your whole contact builder in
mm,
less than half a day. So just fill in some sheets and we put this in our machine and it maps your contact builder. So we did this, and our clients would say, okay, so you did this in less than half a day, so it shouldn't cost more than, I don't know, $500. Well,
mm,
come on. It's- there's some kind of research here, development, and so at this moment we just thought that we should switch, we should turn our technological assets to actual apps on the app
mm,
exchange. So that's what we're doing. We're just packaging them,
mm,
and because it's also in the minds of the customers now. I think there's more and more. You see the new generation. They need a
mm,
solution that just go upload the
mm,
new app. There's no real. So we're trying to build things around this, and we keep on a little service just to keep close to customers and understand the struggle
mm,
and see what's happening. But what I wanted to say is that um, unluckily, not unluckily, but I don't know how to express it. But I came to the point where you see all the layoffs today, and
mm,
people are leaving jobs, and this job security, when things like this happen,
mm,
it's not good for the ecosystem, because what happens is that you take a big partner, he will try to
mm,
secure jobs, and to secure
mm,
jobs, he will do his best to make projects last longer.
mm. True.
And you see where it's heading. You have the client that say, well, the tool is not as easy as in the demos. In fact, it could be, but
So yeah, actually, what happens? Uh, yeah, when you brought this topic of this layoff, okay. So
yeah.
yeah, I also study organizations very well. Okay, I love I love politics. I write about geopolitics and all. Also, I like it, and everything of state of affairs and everything, right? So what happens is uh, they should basically, the organizations, like I follow Simon Sinek very religiously. And he talks about a lot of leadership qualities, what leaders has to do, what the company has to do. His recent book is Infinite Game. Okay, and he discuss about how you want to make a lasting organization. You have to be in an infinite game. Okay? You should not look for short-term successes, how to build shortcuts and do things. Okay, he gives an analogy of the Vietnamese War and a lot of the. I'll if you get a time, I'll say you just read the book. You'll get a lot of insight what he's talking about. And
I know Simons, and I can. He likes the war analogy and the variants.
yeah, he actually, he speaks his mind so diligently and so profoundly. He is the one of the most sought speaker in the world on leadership, and what he speaks, it speaks a lot of volumes what he's saying. Okay, so based on the layoff, what he says is, see guys. you are doing a layoff. This is, you are just pleasing the shareholders. It's nothing more. Okay, you projected, based on your last year revenue, you projected this year's revenue, and when you are not able to cope up, you don't have any options but to do the layoff. Okay, so the analogy and everything that he puts in is very interesting. Okay, very
Yeah, well,
interesting.
actually, concerning the actual layoffs today, I don't think they're really related to the Salesforce economy. I mean, Salesforce economy is growing. Um, I mean, it's just growing uh, uh, a, a bit uh, a bit slower, but it's growing. It's not it's not going
No.
back.
i-
And for each dollar they make, I got the figure from Salesforce a couple of months ago. There are $6 made by the ecosystem. So uh, if they're still growing, it's still there's still traction. So what's happening is that I think it's not related to the economy, just communication, signals, politics. We focused on result and benefits, but it's not really related. But I think what happened is that uh, I think the top management of Salesforce is not really happy with the way the performance is kind of slowing down. And I think
Mhm.
it's not related to the context. I think it's related to the fact that Salesforce is becoming as huge as uh, like SAP or Oracle, but um, they became so huge that s- sometimes I tell them, You're not the same cowboys I knew 5 years ago.
Mhm.
5 years ago, you were like American cowboys. You were just
Mhm.
shooting around, and now
Mhm.
you're waiting for validation from your boss and your boss's boss and your boss's boss's
Mhm.
boss, and so they lost some of their efficiency. They need to rethink the organization with their new size. So
Mhm.
the I think it just came at the right moment for them to have a pretext, or I don't know how to say this, but
Yeah,
let's say
I
the context.
basically,
And
yeah, maybe I have a different context. You might have a different context. Okay, the way I'm looking it is a total, might be a totally different context, because what happens is, I have studied Infosys in India. Okay, I've
yeah,
studied TCS in India. Okay, I've studied Wipro in India, and I have studied a lot of other organizations, because I do share market also. So what happens is, Infosys at when it started, okay, and when it was booming, it used to boom in such a way that it if in that rate, if it was growing the way it was growing, Infosys, it could have been like, it could, Infosys can beat the economy of India. Even it can reach to, the projection would be reaching to the US economy, if that growth rate would speed with the 10 years progression that they started. The same 10 years progression would have been done, then they would, so but things change. When the company progresses, there will be a certain threshold where the saturation starts, and after the saturations, definitely streamlining has to be done. Okay, the same with Cognizant. Okay, when Cognizant started, okay, they started, then they, in the Nasdaq, they started with the IPO, and they are growing. And what also used to happen was the promotion and everything. Hmm. So, of they used to call orbiters. So a new fresher who is basically joining, and in a special category, like he might be given some task, and he would be called as a orbiter. Okay, so orbiter, when she lands into his job and works for 1 year, and he gets a first rating, he should be promoted. Okay, he has an added advantage because he's called an orbiter. Okay, the other person who is not an orbiter, now he came here but he's doing well, now he has to wait for 3 4 years to basically get promoted. Hmm. So it created a lot of disbalance. Now company was basically looking at only at their, their modeling was,
yeah,
they got distorted somewhere, because what happens is, there's a huge gap that was created. Now a 4 years person is standing here, another 4 years person is scaling up here. Okay, so first they come with the conclusion saying merit, because this person has a merit, but suddenly some dynamics will change. Obviously he might also have a merit. Okay, now this person will leave everything because he can't match up his peer. There's a peer pressure. Okay,
Mm.
so the attrition rate increases. So now they started with the merit increase and they're trying to fill the gap. There is still a gap. Okay, so when the company matches, obviously the streamline has to be done and this gap has to be closed. Okay, so I'm giving an analogy not directly with Salesforce, but all these other
I
things
see.
into action.
Well, the scaling of companies is hard to think about, and in this new economy, it's complicated because um, you talked about salaries, but we know that now it's not just salaries. People want to work. Some want to work remote. Some will not leave for if they don't have at least a certain amount of personal time out or healthcare or things like this. And we're not just talking about salaries, and also the most difficult part in scaling for me is uh, it's the vision. You talked about Simon Sinek, and I think it's important. It's just uh, you can't have people. If you want to scale, people have to grow with the company. They can't grow with the company if their personal objective in life has no alignment with the vision of the company.
Mhm.
You can't. Well, I'll say unless you're the founder. You can't have unlimited alignment with the company. So at a certain moment you may leave to fulfill your own vision. But if you want a company to scale well, you have you have to find people that have a 90% fit with the way you think and and where you want to go. And I'm not talking about uh, what HR are looking for now. I mean, three certifications and this academic background and some things like this. Really, the vision, because the certifications they will not scale with you.
True. Yeah.
You stick to
Uh,
ID.
One of the, yeah, in LinkedIn also, there are a lot of recruiters. Okay, and like one you said, there is one some most unpopular opinion you post. Okay, there was one HR who posted most unpopular opinion was they can think about young people. Okay, going into the ladder and doing something extra. Okay, I said that is too silly to discuss. Okay, that's too silly, because some people who has the highest experience, like lot of experience, they have basically seen lot of tides, lot of recessions. Okay, when recessions do happen, definitely there is a layoff. Okay, when economy slowdown happens, there's definitely a layoff. Hmm. And going through that storm, okay, you are in a ship. Okay, the experienced person has sailed through that ship. He has sailed so many times and he has learned through an experience. A new guy, okay, he has to learn through an experience. So this unpopular, I took it took it on the reply. They didn't like it, and they were giving some examples. So the example is 1%. Okay, but you have to think about 99%. So people are basically looking at 1% and discussing like it's like a general phenomena. It's not. So uh, the different company, okay, we don't want to go there because yeah, we have a different. I agree. So there might be a disagreement there, because I think in a different perspective. Okay, because a lot of things based on my experience, I have seen it is a different trajectory for the organization. So I sometimes if I uh, I want to call some few, executives and want to discuss one day regarding all this. Okay, coming back to you.